Do I tell my boyfriend I need a break? 22. Almost 1 year in. I'm not sure it's what I want, but maybe it's what I need. He assures me he cares, but I don't feel like he does, due to his actions, basically spending the day with his Discord friends, working, not offering any small or big gesture apart from 5 minutes of cuddling because I want to, sometimes buying pastries in the morning, and agreeing to watch a show together because I asked. This morning he offered to buy croissants, he didn't have any cookies left to eat, and we have a bakery right in front of our place, but it's not very good. He refused to go to the one that's 2 minutes away because it's further. Am I the only one that gets mad at this? I ended up saying I'd rather not get any then, and cooked for us. I told him a few hours ago that I was feeling unhappy. His answers were, he is happy, joking, doesn't that make me happy? I should stop complaining. End of the discussion. At the beginning of the relationship, I thought we really had something. He changed his behavior, and there were many times when I suggested we should live apart, or take it slow, or just talked about it in general. I've never really said this is how it goes and no other way, whether it be for living separately or taking a break. I'm thinking maybe it would make him realize what's wrong. Very important info. He will soon move out for his job, or go to his family for Christmas, meaning I will get to have alone time to think, or just see if the relationship works that way. This is why I'm considering waiting instead of telling him anything, though I do still feel very bad for earlier. Too long didn't read, I don't feel loved, and even when I want to talk about being unhappy, I can't. Should I tell him I need a break? There are no breaks, only breakups. Break up. It sounds like you have fallen for his potential and not him. How does he actually make you feel? Do you feel happier around him? How does he improve your life? What would you actually miss if you broke up? You're only 22 and it's only been 1 year. It should be magical. Anyone can say they love and care about someone, but it's actions that actually matter, and like you said, he's not showing it. If I were you, I'd let go. There's too many people in the world for him to be the only one. He used to make me feel understood, able to talk about anything and cared for. Now he makes me feel like we can have fun but like I can't be heard, like I'm really not cared for. Should it? Because I always had a feeling things should be going way more easily. But at the same time, it's been a tough year for the both of us, and living in a small studio added another difficulty. But the thing is, to him, having a 5 minutes break when he works to come hug me and things like that, are efforts he's making because he wouldn't necessarily do it. I'm so sad it used to be so good. Frown. You might be surprised at how long being in your youth is. It's going to be 14 years before you're 36, my and wife's age, finding your stride in this crazy, having a partner, still maturing maze. May have at this point found himself and love himself. That was the root of that joke. Trust me, I've made that joke as well. Got the same response too. She did not find it funny as it revealed a deep selfishness. Like him, I hate talking about her problems, which are really our problems. Just takes me a while to slow down, put down what I'm doing and see that breaks don't fix things. Breaks break things. Making things right makes things right. Communication must be established as a firm foundation. We will talk about our issues, period. Use words not to tear down, but build up. Never tit for tat. No scorekeeping. Reasonable request, even requesting that reasonable things be done at no request. Address reasonable desires and goals. Where we are and where we would like to be. Small and progressive steps to get there. You'll be repeating this for a long time. Be patient. Celebrate our successes together. And separate. The man cave. I'm writing you from my man cave, and bro time is how men are deeply wired. Coming back to your partner and leaving the brothers is a must. We agree on when and how often that happens. Partner's needs first, then everything else second. And I know she's happy. I can enjoy my me time even better. It takes practice, and learn from the previous efforts. It's easier with the same person as long as that's your choice. Even with the next partner you'll have to do the same shit. If you grow the skill of leaving, you'll be great at leaving. If you grow the skill of love, patience, communication, understanding, giving and receiving, you'll be unstoppable. Peace. I see two things here. 1. You have to know what you want. Having a BF just for having one is not a way to live. 2. A couple makes sense when two single happy people feels that they are even happier if they are together. NB, the first year of a relationship is the easiest as the chemicals of novelty and excitement are helping, which is not the case afterward. So it's either you two guys that will have to start working on this relationship or that as a couple you might not be a good fit. Sorry for being blunt but don't want to write 10 pages smile. You have told him what's wrong. Taking a break is not going to change his view. So you can stay but you are gonna have to get over it, or you can move on and find happiness elsewhere. Personally, I would move on. My 29/F fiancé, who was my ex at the time, 29/M, paid my expensive medical bills after I had an accident, and no one thought I deserved to know. When I was 23, I went on a trip with my friends. I had an accident and ended up with an expensive medical bill since I was dumb and didn't get medical travel insurance. My parents flew to me since I was unconscious for a few days, and they needed someone to make medical decisions on my behalf. When I was getting ready to leave the hospital, I remember asking my parents how much it cost. At the time I was still in a lot of pain and drugged up on pain meds, so I didn't really question it when they told me our home government covered it and to not worry about it. Fast forward to now, and my ex, we broke up a few months before the trip, is now my fiancé. We reconnected about 4 years ago, and in all of that time he has never once mentioned the trip or the accident. He also had the opportunity to tell me what he did, because on one of our first dates I told him the story about it. He acted like it was the first time he had heard the story. It's also been brought up since then, including after we got engaged. Yet, he's never mentioned it. I found out the truth a few days ago when a friend who went on the trip with me made a comment about how she always knew we would end up married after he paid for and took care of everything, so my parents didn't have to worry whilst I was in hospital. I asked her a lot of questions about what really happened after my accident, and she told me the truth but kept apologizing because she thought my family/fiancé would have told me about it by now. When I asked him about it, he denied it at first but eventually admitted it. He kept saying it wasn't a big deal and he doesn't understand why I'm angry at everyone who knew. My family have the same view. My friends are all acting shocked that no one told me, and they insist they would have if they knew I didn't know. Honestly, I don't know why I'm angry either, but I can't help but feel like my family, fiancé and friends betrayed me in a way by not telling me. I get not saying anything initially, but at least after our engagement someone should have mentioned it to me. I guess part of me is posting this for validation that being upset at them for lying isn't an overreaction, but I would also like advice on how to get past this. How do I stop being so upset with everyone? Too long didn't read. My fiancé covered the medical bills, and additional costs, after I had an accident abroad, even though we had already broken up. We eventually got back together and are engaged, but no one who knew about it, including my fiancé and family, have ever mentioned it to me. I found out by accident and I can't help feeling upset and betrayed that no one thought I deserved to know. That man is a gem. Keep him. He did something really nice for you and your family with no expectation that he would be praised for it or rewarded. He could take care of it, so he did, and he truly cares about you. He didn't tell you because he didn't want it to be weird. I suspect he knew you would be weirded out by it, which you are. Just say thank you and move on. Sounds like he is a really good person. While I agree with people here that it's not indicative of anything sinister, and is actually pretty explicable in a way that only further proves he is a good guy, it's still disarming to learn that this potential source of financial stress was cleared by someone very close to you, that everyone knew about it, and that no one ever told you. I think your friend's assumption that someone would have clued you in by now fairly reflects the fact that it would have been weirder to actively keep this from you and only you for so long, even if you aren't necessarily harmed by either knowing or not knowing about it. Ultimately, I would just give it a few days. You had a major unexpected revelation and it's going to produce discomforting feelings, especially if you just physiologically and psychologically handle shock poorly. I experience nausea and dread at the onset of explicitly intentional positive surprises. This would bowl me over. Those feelings are valid and normal, but they don't mean that anyone did anything wrong. and they will subside as you digest the information and have time to go back to the memory of that event and fill it in with what you know now. Don't make any decisions based off of it, and don't levy accusations or confront anyone until you've had time to process. Just sit with it and let it sink in. It is likely that he didn't want this action to make you feel like you owed him something, in your romantic relationship or otherwise. Rather, that your connection was real and honest, not because he did an amazing thing for you. He sounds like a wonderful person. While it is normal for you to feel upset about not being told the truth about something, it might help to try and see it from his perspective to gain clarity on valid reasons why he didn't tell you. Your serious accident must also have been/be very difficult, emotionally, for him and your family. Perhaps this is why he didn't ever bring it up when you got back together. Regardless, I hope you can look past not being told to see how special he is. I could imagine he thought there was not a way to bring it up that wasn't about making him look like a good guy. The best way to know someone's character is to know what they do when there is nothing in it for them. I could see if I did something like that, then I would feel like, if I tell them now it's about me when I just did this to truly help. Or maybe he thought it would put you in an awkward position of feeling grateful and indebted and he didn't want that for you. And I would think whatever he decided, the family decided to honor this. I can imagine it's very disorienting to find this out. But I can really see that maybe this came out of a good place. I understand your concern. On one hand, it was an exceptionally generous thing to do. He wanted it kept secret so you didn't feel beholden to him. Why the rest of your family and so many friends knew is beyond me. Who goes around telling a secret? But it seems like you might be concerned about future issues. Are they going to keep other things from you so you don't worry? Who are they to decide what you know or don't know? Keeping a secret for a good reason is still usually a bad idea. Who goes around telling a secret? Plenty of family members, in my experience. My 27/F family threatened to disown me after I confided in my sister, 24/F, that I wanted a divorce. A year ago, I was in a pretty bad place mentally and I just felt miserable in my marriage and the urge to get out was overwhelming. I confided in my sister that I was thinking of asking my husband for a divorce. She completely dismissed my feelings and made me feel like the problems were all in my head and essentially told me to suck it up because plenty of other women would love to be in my position and I would be an idiot for throwing it all away over something as stupid as feeling neglected. At the time, my marriage was in an awful place. I barely saw my husband each month because he was always away on business or working long hours. I tried to talk to him about it a few times, but he never had the time. So, when she dismissed me too, it really sucked. Things got even worse when my family started harassing me and threatening to disown me if I dared to bring up divorce. I don't think I've ever felt that low in my life. I get they were worried because if I divorced my husband it would affect their livelihoods too. For some context, my husband is paying my sister's tuition, he's offered to / is planning to invest in the business my brother and Sil are trying to start and he owns my childhood home where my parents still live but I feel like their reactions were so selfish. They only cared about themselves and now I feel resentful towards them all. I hate that they now act like nothing happened between us. How do I tell them what they did hurt me without them twisting it onto me? Also, would it be wrong if I asked my husband not to help my brother or Sil? They were both especially cruel with their business. Too long didn't read. My family threatened to disown me when I told them I was considering divorce but now they act like nothing happened.